essay in paragraph number 2. Okay, it's on page 55. I'll have it. Okay.
The Kuzari set.
Yeah. All right. So can we begin? Okay. Okay. Huh? Me. Sure. So ready?
Yes.
Okay. You want to read? Okay.
The Kuzari said, "Your words seem logically sound and sufficient. However, they do not provide a solution for my quest. You said that a specific action was not important and that only knowledge and attitude of the heart mattered. I know myself well enough to judge that my soul is pure, as you put it, is only a figurative term."
No. The next page.
Oh, it's the next page. Alright, I was going back.
Yeah.
My soul is pure and
My actions are
well intentioned before the Creator. Despite this, I still received a message that my actions were not desired, even though my intentions were. I must conclude that there exists a set of activities which are intrinsically desirable, and not just because the thoughts attached to them are. If this were not the case, then how do we explain why Edom and Ishmael, Christianity and Islam, two nations which have divided the civilized world between them, are constantly warring over religious practice? Each nation is of pure soul and with divine intentions. The peoples practice asceticism, fasting and praying, yet they still go about killing each other. What's worse, they believe that this killing is a great act of righteousness and a means of coming closer to the Creator. Each side believes that its way is the path to the Garden of Eden. And do not tell me to follow both religions, because adhering to two opposite faiths is totally illogical.
Right. Okay. So we first see that the king of Kuzar is denying the philosopher's presentation subjectively by saying that it does not provide a solution for his quest. Okay?
First, he was pretty much asking the philosophers an open question, and now he's saying that your answer is not valid enough.
Right. So that's on his behalf, and the way his perspective of reality is that it's not providing a solution to my quest, since in his dream the angel gave him the message that his intentions are desirable to the Creator, his deeds are not. There are deeds that are desirable to the Creator, and your obligation is to find them. And you, philosopher, were claiming that there is no such thing as correct deeds, right? And there's no interaction between the Creator and us human beings.
At least for the benefit of order.
Right. And well, mainly we'll see as summarizing this whole dialogue between the king and the philosopher, is that the king approached the philosopher first in order to confirm that the intention is a true thing. It's not an illusion. Okay, but we'll talk about that later. But basically, that's the bottom line, why he approached them first. Okay, so first of all, he denied him by saying it doesn't solve my quest. Now, secondly, he is denying him according to what is done in the world. Okay, meaning humanity developed from idol worshipping to monotheism. They don't define the Creator anymore according to their needs, to their desires. Okay, rather they realize that there's a course, there's a purpose in this world, and there's a desire to find the truth. Um, and he assumes that he might find that kind of system of seeking for the truth with Edom or Ishmael, Christianity and Islam. Not necessarily because of what they claim, rather the way they live. Okay, the way they appear in reality, where they don't deny that there is a connection between the Creator and human beings, and that is contradicting what the philosophers said. That he's abandoning the world, he's abandoning the materialistic world, and detaching himself from the materialistic world, trying to devote himself to the intellect, and that's it. And contrary to the religions, Islam and Christianity, where they are very involved in the world, they're trying to interfere with the world, they're trying to settle the world, okay, to influence the human beings to believe in what they believe. Okay, so that's totally in contrary to what the philosopher is claiming. The philosopher is trying to isolate himself and to separate himself from the materialistic world and from human beings. Okay, where the other religions are saying the opposite. No, there's a correct deed, and the deeds are telling us that we have to interfere, we have to get involved, we have to influence people. Okay. And that there is indeed a communication connection between the Creator and human beings.
When he says, "I received a message," what's meant by that?
You mean the king?
Yes.
That's
Despite this, I received a message.
That was the dream.
Okay, calling him. He's saying, okay.
Yeah. Okay, and their faith is actually the cause and the reason for all wars in the world. Okay, meaning that the desirable intention by the Creator leads us to meaningful deeds, okay, to values, and not only that, whoever transgresses those deeds or values should be put aside, okay, should be killed, should be eliminated. Why? He is preventing from the Creator to lead the world. Okay, he is a barrier of the Creator's will. Okay, by transgressing the Creator's will. So, and therefore, those religious people believe that by removing those barriers, removing those people that are against or a threat to the religion, not only that they're doing a favor, they're doing a commandment, they're doing a very good and positive deed, and they're getting closer to the Creator and getting closer to the merit to be present in the Garden of Eden. Okay, so they're that, like, judgment and is on their side. Okay, they're justifying their deeds of killing other people by doing the Creator's will. Okay, that's why they can go to war. That's why they can kill other people, force other people to do what they believe is the right thing to do. On the other hand, as what the king of Kuzari said, they both have their own belief that they're doing the right thing. However, it's impossible for both of them to be the truth, right? So one of them is. Okay, so he has to clarify which one of the two um, is presenting the truth by the Creator.
Yeah, but he's saying that there's innate flaws in both of them, since both say it's righteous to kill.
Well, you're talking about the philosopher. No, we didn't get there yet.
No, the
What?
the Kuzari.
Where?
Says each yet they still go about killing each other.
Right.
What's worse, he's making it clear that it's not a good thing. What's worse, they believe that this killing is a great act of righteousness and a means of coming closer.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's in the translation. In Hebrew, doesn't mention that it's worse. So yeah, I wouldn't rely on that as a hinting for a criticism or rebuke against the religions. We maybe in the translation, what he wants to say is that in your eyes, as a philosopher, what is even worse is that they're killing each other. And yeah, but I mean, it's not that the king is thinking that it's wrong. Okay. Okay. According to the philosopher, okay, that doesn't make sense. Okay, if we're all seeking for the pure truth, okay, so I shouldn't mind what you believe or think. Okay, we're all have in common the same thing is to seek for the truth, and you're doing it your way, I'm doing it my way, and that's it. Okay, there's no sense of killing somebody because he thinks otherwise. It's not rational. It's not logical. It's craziness. Okay, how can you kill somebody because he disagrees with you? Okay, if you're purely looking at it in the perspective of logic, he's right. Okay, but because he thinks something and he has a different point of view, different perspective, then that gives you the right to kill him. Okay? That's crazy. Okay, so let's go through 3. Want to read? Number 3? Yeah.
The philosopher replied, "It may be true that the masses of the world believe in organized religion and are willing to kill for it, but the philosopher's religion does not sanction murder. This is because we do not believe that any action inspired by religion, such as holy war, can elevate the individual. Rather, our whole objective is to heighten the intellect."
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe the religious people are seeking for the truth. I'll give him that credit. However, they came to the wrong conclusions. Okay, they're wrong because if their conclusion is by seeking the truth is that they are allowed and they should kill each other in the name of the Creator, then that is a very false and wrong conclusion. Okay? In other words, the masses, they're stupid. The religious people, they're stupid. They're not intellectual and smart as we are. Because when you come to the conclusion that you should kill somebody because you disagree with him, then that means you lost your mind. You trashed it. Right? Okay, and number 4. David, you want to read?
Sure. The Kuzari said, "Is this the only criticism that you can make against the organized religions? What error of the other religions could be greater, according to you, than to believe that the world has not existed eternally, and that it was created in 6 days, and that what you call the prime cause actually communicates with mankind, despite the philosopher's position that this prime cause is elevated above any temporal knowledge?"
Go on.
This
Wait a minute. Yeah.
This being the case, that you're unassailably correct and they are so wrong, then as a result of the philosophers' practices, their wisdom, and their efforts at arriving at the truth, we would have expected to see prophecy abounding among them because of their close attachment to spirituality. We should have by now heard of great miracles that occurred through them, and they should have already achieved a reputation for greatness in the world. We see, however, just the opposite. Those who have not studied your wisdom or prepared themselves according to your prescribed methods have achieved divine communication, whereas philosophers have achieved none of this. This indicates to me that the truth about God lies somewhere else, outside of what you have told me, philosopher. 3.
Yeah, okay, up to there. Okay, because then it goes on to his dialogue with the Christian scholar. Okay, so we're going to focus on this paragraph, the answer of the king of Kuzari to the philosopher. Okay, so, what?
He basically said that you yield no results whilst others do. So clearly there's something wrong.
Yeah, but I'm going to go more in detail, in depth. Yeah, so if you king of Kuzar, in your eyes, the religious people, okay, Christianity and Islam, are philosophers as you, meaning they're trying to seek the truth in a pure intellectual way, then you would expect that they would reach your conclusion, okay, as the philosopher claimed, that you should distance yourself from the materialistic world and to come to the conclusion that there is no communication and no interaction between you and the Creator. Okay, but the facts in reality are otherwise, right? The fundamentals of faith that are pushing the world, okay, the human race, and with faith, are teaching that there is an interaction, there is communication between the Eternal One and human beings. And the materialistic world, there's interference, there's providence. So how can you be so sure, philosopher, okay, that your claim that the world is eternal, there is no beginning, there is no creation, there is no interaction, there is no connection and link to the Creator, how can you be so certain and sure that your assumption, that your theory is a true one, and what the religious people claim, that there is a beginning, there is a creation, there is a Creator that communicates and has an interaction with the world, that they're wrong? Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe what you're saying is wrong, and what they're claiming is the truth. And then when he says they claim that the world was created in 6 days, okay, so that is a sign that there's a course, there's an intention. Okay, why was it created in 6 days and not 10 million or whatever? Okay, it means that there's a meaning, there's a value to this. It is not random. And okay, they believe also in prophecy. Okay, where we saw that the philosopher said, if you connect yourself to the prime cause, the active intellect, you may receive maybe prophecy. Okay, but there's no value to it, there's no meaning to it, there's no importance to it. Okay, but here, those people that you claim that are stupid and are ignorant and have no wisdom like you, but they claim that they have prophecy. They claim that they have link and information of what's going to be in the future, or in other deep messages.
Connection to the
Yeah, that you claim that you don't have, and you would expect that you, as the intellectual, the elite of the human race, that you would receive that prophecy, and you don't. Okay. So all those questions that the king of Kuzar is asking the philosopher are teaching that, showing first of all that the philosopher does not have an answer to all those questions. Okay, and the conclusion is that deep inside, through the dream, through his certainty that the spark of Hashem that comes speaking to him, the philosopher is not delivering the answer that he was expecting. and there is a deed that expresses the the soul, okay, and so he should look someplace else for that answer, okay. Yeah, so that's where he dismisses the philosopher. One general thing that I want to add is that in every dialogue that we'll see here, okay, where as we began with the dream, then the dialogue with the philosopher, then his dialogue with the Christian scholar, later on with the Muslim, and then the rest of the book with the rabbi. Until he reaches his dialogue with the rabbi, with every dialogue, every interaction with the other scholars, he accepts something, he receives something, and then he dismisses the rest. Okay, so with the philosopher, okay, he dismissed him, but what did he receive from him?
You see that there's an understanding of prime cause and intellect. The goal is intellect.
Okay,
Connection.
okay. Anybody else? Well, what's the main thing that he did accept from the philosopher's message? Okay, basically what you said, but in other words, what you should never give up on.
Order.
Order, okay, another word maybe?
Well, even the philosopher admits that's true. The masses of the world believe in organized and that we can have it.
But basically, what the king is accepting is never give up on intellect, never give up on logic. Okay? Okay, that's what he does accept and receives from the philosopher. Okay, and we'll see that's important for later, for here, when we'll begin with the Christian scholar.
It's very emotional there.
Huh?
Because it's very emotional there, like Christianity, Islam, like very.
It's very emotional, and there is no intellect.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's not the balance. He needs the.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
From the philosophy.
Exactly. Okay, I'll give a brief introduction before we go into Christianity, and then
The philosopher's philosophy
yeah.
was that intention doesn't really have a meaning. It's more about action.
No, there is no action either.
There's no action either.
No, there is no value to any specific action. It's just devoting and committing yourself to pure, abstract, intellectual study.
Out of curiosity, in English, he refers to organized religion several times.
Right.
But with philosophy, he doesn't say organized philosophy, which we both know is certainly a thing.
Well, what he means by organized is that it's organized with deeds.
Yeah, but in philosophy,
There is no
that's certain schools of thought.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious at this because in more modern English, organized religion is always a
right.
It's in a way an anti-religious thing that people will say. Like they don't want to say they're against Jews, so they say they're against Israel. I'm not against religion. I'm just against organized religion.
Right. So I'm saying that's why it's a little bit difficult to be precise with every word that's translated, since you know that the book we talked about that in introduction to the book, that the book originally was written in Arabic. Okay.
Arabic?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because at the time when Rabbi Yehuda Levi, the Muslim world was.
In Spain?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we're talking about 800, 900 years ago. Okay, the Muslim world was dominating.
Was the peak of the.
Yeah, was like elite. So they were fluent in Arabic. Okay, the translation that you have in this book in your copy for Hebrew is by Rabbi Yehuda Even Tivon, who lived in the time of Rabbi Yehuda Levi. Okay, and Rabbi Yehuda Levi gave his approval to that translation. That's what Rav Tzvi Yehuda used to teach this book. He used to teach with that translation because that's like most precise, most the closest to the origins. Okay, later in more modern translations, they might be easier to understand because they're more modern Hebrew. This is ancient Hebrew. It's very complicated, but still, as you know, translation is not only something technical, but it also has to do with the content, and it changes the meaning, and that's very problematic. And there were failures with the more modern translation. So anyway, translating it from Arabic to Hebrew and then to English, you can understand that there are few things that are gone in the way.
So ideally, I need to get one of my neighbors to study Kuzari with me and see how many pages we can get before they kill me. So I can put it on the inside.
Or find a Orthodox Jew who knows fluent Arabic.
There are such things.
There are. Anyway.
What's coming to mind with this? There's something about human nature and wanting to destroy things that bother it in terms of existence.
Right.
As a philosophy major, we petitioned, had permission to form a philosophy club on campus. And one of the things the philosophy club would do to mess with people, just because for our own fun, I guess. But
right.
Is we'd sit down. You know, there's tables at the quad or whatever. We sit down, we start eating our lunch, and then we start a discussion of reality, and then we would all admit that actually none of us existed.
Right.
Like this world, we're not supposed to tell you. This room doesn't exist. It's all, we're all in your imagination.
Right.
Now, there's lots of ways people could have argued back, but it was amazing, which is what usually we were hoping to get was a good discussion.
Right.
But it was amazing how frequently people would say, "Well, if I hit you, does that prove you exist?"
Right.
Because it's something about human nature that when they short circuit in their brain, then we go to our crudest level of animalistic behavior.
Of the instinct of survival. Okay, and you're threatening that.
Yes.
By claiming such a statement, a person who doesn't know how to argue or to answer such a statement, he feels a threat to his existence, and he has to prove otherwise. So he'll do whatever the most primitive thing is. I'll hit you. Yeah. Okay? But you know, intellectually, you can say, okay, it's true. You can intellectually, none of us can prove to his fella that verbally that he's here. We can't. Okay, but you do know that you're here. Okay, so and that comes to our introduction that we did the way before with the whole definition of emunah. Okay, of believing, that's the certainty. Okay, that certainty is primer to your thought. Okay, as we said, Descartes, like his statement, I think, therefore I am. Okay?
Yeah, I was thinking that just now.
Okay, but we say the opposite. We say, what do we say?
Yeah.
What do we say?
I am, therefore I think.
Okay? And even going further than that, what's the first word you say in the morning when you open your eyes?
Modeh.
Modeh. You don't say ani.
No.
You say modeh. Then you say ani.
Yes.
Why? What is modeh?
It's like giving thanks.
That's one meaning. Okay, in Hebrew, many times, many words have double or more meaning.
Okay.
Okay, what is the meaning of modeh? So you said thanking. What else?
Like acknowledging.
Acknowledging.
Acknowledge. Yeah.
It's not it exactly.
Appreciate.
Not appreciate.
Accept.
I'll say in Hebrew. Let's see if you understand. Modeh ba'ashma. I admit that I'm guilty. I admit.
Oh, admit.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Modeh is I admit. I admit.
Like
Give
confession.
myself.
Yeah, confess. I'm confessing that this is true.
Wow.
Okay, so
It's much more stronger.
yeah, so Rav Kook in his commentaries on the prayer states the modeh as first, I admit, I confess that he is, okay, and also I am, as you mentioned, modeh also means thanking. So I admit and I'm thankful, and only then I can say I.
It's a combination of like to make Yeshua.
To make what?
To feel guilty about what you did.
It's not to feel guilty. It's more that I admit that you are the source of life.
Okay.
I admit that you are, and I'm thankful that you are, and then I can say I. If there's no him, then there's no me.
Right.
So first of all, there's him.
Oh, nice.
In another way,
There's also some
it's like,
humility.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am because you are.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Right. But that's why in the tefillah, in the prayer, we don't start with I. It doesn't begin for me.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from an origin.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. With time, okay, we have 4 more minutes. Okay, so I'll give you a brief introduction to what we're going to go through in Christianity, maybe also with Islam, and then next time we'll get into Christianity and go in depth there as much as we can. And maybe I'll give a warning saying no offense to nobody, but there is a halacha to make fun out of idol worshiping. And since we consider Christianity as idol worshiping, then we're going to make fun of Christianity. So even if it's on the air, and even if there are people here that might be sensitive, I don't know, I'm warning and saying that we're going to be harsh about it. Okay?
A nice disclaimer.
Huh?
Disclaimer.
Mm-hmm.
For viewer protection.
Yeah. So there, I won't be sued or whatever. Yeah. Okay. So the Christian scholar and the Muslim scholar, their perspective is that I'm not reading in the book. Okay. So the Christian scholar and the Muslim scholar, their perspective is that there's a endless gap between the Creator and this materialistic world.
Between the according to the Christian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the Muslim.
The creator and the creation.
Yeah. Okay, this limited world is limited, we're defiant, right? And he is eternal. So it's a endless gap that you cannot ever fill it up. You can't fulfill it. You can't accomplish to understand. Okay, it's this absurd that you cannot answer. Now, on the other hand, monotheism, and contrary to idol worshiping. Idol worshiping, we're very narrow-minded, very into boxes of, defining the Creator, defining the world according to their very limited mind. Okay, monotheism saying no. Okay, we accept that the Creator is eternal and that we're defined, we're limited. Fine. However, what?
We're not just monotheistic, though. We're also non-idol worshiping monotheists.
Right.
A monotheist could be somebody who has a statue on the table. Who says,
Okay, that's why I'm saying that we're talking right now about Christianity and Islam. We're not talking about Judaism. So they accept that he's eternal. On the other hand, they cannot and don't want to give up on this world, and the materialistic world, and contrary to the philosopher. Okay? They have a necessity to admit, okay, that there is a link, there's a connection, there's a communication between Creator and creation. Although, logically, rationally, it's a contradiction. Okay? Rationally, you cannot accept, you cannot comprehend that there is a possibility of a connection between the eternal one in this limited world, materialistic world. Okay, but they have a necessity to accept it. Why? Okay, what brings the religious people, Christians, Muslims, to accept and say it's a necessity that there is a communication and connection between the Creator and this materialistic world? Any idea?
Well, their whole foundation is that for a Muslim, for example, they receive a message from their God.
Mm-hmm.
For the Christians also, like they received some instructions or revelations from God. And therefore, they say they can.
But it's relying on something prior to that. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
So what they're relying on when they cannot deny. Okay, and the whole first essay is focusing on this point. They cannot deny that the connection, the link, or the proof, the evidence of this link between Creator and creation is with the fact, okay, of this phenomena called the children of Israel. Okay, the historical phenomena that's called Israel is the proof of the evidence of connection, communication between the Creator and human beings. And they cannot deny it, they can't ignore it. It's a fact, okay? Historical fact.
I mean, the Christians acknowledge it.
Right.
But the Muslims...
They less, but they still do.
They kind of, in a way, perverse it, that, you're not the chosen ones, we're the chosen ones.
The Christians say the same thing, but it's exactly the same thing. We'll get into that.
Christians say you were the chosen ones.
Right.
Now we are.
Exactly. Right. We'll get into that. You're absolutely right. But I'm saying the bottom line is they both
believe in chosen one.
They not only that they know, they have the certainty that there is such a connection because of Israel.
I see.
Okay, that's the link. Okay, then when they say, okay, it used to be and not anymore, that's a different story. But where do you derive? Where do you come from to be so certain and say that there's a necessity of this kind of connection? It's Israel.
Mm-hmm. There's also a big difference though in foundation, because we believe because we received, they believe because they believe that somebody else received.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, and we'll focus on that next time. Okay. Can we shut off the